There we go. All right. So I just Ian Palmer.
Yes.
We met in Bahia Tortugas. We came floating in. We came in pretty late at night and dropped the hook. And the next morning we woke up to knock, knock, knock. Hello, neighbors. And we've been sailing and off and on. I mean, meeting each other throughout the Sea of Cortez and now La Paz. And then now, like, what is it, 8 months later or something? You're here, we're here. And when you came up to us in Bahia Tortugas, you had an interesting story.
Mm-hmm.
Could you recall what you told us? It was about sailing and all the difficulties you had.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember very well that that story, or at least the story that remains in my mind was, number one, I was, that was my maiden voyage, going southbound, leaving Los Angeles, and onward and beyond to potentially go to a very long way, maybe around the world. But hey, I didn't want to fall over myself at that point. I was just trying to get to Tortuga Bay. Of course, I was trying to get past the hurricane area too before it was high season. But I remember I was over in I forgot the exact bay, but it's north of Bahia Tortuga, and it's just across from Cedros Island. There's an island, Cedros Island. So it's north of Cedros Island, and then if you go towards the main to Baja shore, there's like I think it's Santa Maria if I recall. And anyway, so I was there. It was a beautiful day. I got to Santa Maria, and to anchor and just to relax for that leg, and but I had I couldn't really. I was about to go to sleep, and I was with my dogs just hanging out, and I was thinking, there's an oil a leak in the high pressure system of my diesel engine, which I was still getting to learn that engine, and that's a big part of knowing my boat and having a safe boat, knowing the inside and out of the engine. And it was leaking diesel, but then not bad. But it was leaking like drip, drip, drip. It was still running though, fine, you know. So I'm like, okay, I've had cars, I've rebuilt engines, and I know my way around mechanical things, So I'm like, okay, I'm telling myself, just don't be smart. Be smart about it. Don't over crank anything. I'm talking to myself. So just try to tighten things up in there and see if you can eliminate that leak. And so I get in there, and you know how it is when you start wrenching on things. You kind of you got to give it something to know where it's at.
Exactly.
So I'm checking this, checking that. Not really making any difference though. And finally I look at one nut, and I'm like, maybe it's that. I couldn't really tell where it's coming from either.
Right.
So I'm just hitting all little areas. And sure enough, I had a small little 1/4-inch ratchet, and I just put it on this nut, and it sheared off. Yeah. And then and fuel just came pouring out.
Oh,
and I'm thinking, oh Lord,
into the bilge.
Into the bilge,
Jeez.
And I knew right away. I'm like, well, there goes, I got to fix this. And that's actually, in retrospect, that was a big mistake. The way that I reacted was a big mistake because I panicked. And I thought, oh Lord, a shock went through me, and I'm cold sweat, like, oh. I just screwed this up, and I didn't even have to. It's self-inflicted, even worse. I'm just really getting down on myself. And I actually did repair it, and the engine, I got the engine running again. But what I did was I cross-threaded it, because I only had another bolt that had the same diameter but different threading, and so what I just did to myself was actually just prolong the issue now.
Well, you stemmed the bleeding, but then
I stemmed the bleeding. The engine was running, but now I got to get that thing repaired for legitimately now. And you know what? It's funny that I could have, because you know how a bleed on a diesel engine, a bleed valve has two screws.
Yep.
And they're both the same thread.
Yep.
So one screw goes into the other screw. All I had to do, if I really was sharp or knew my engine, all I had to do is just take that one out, and take the one off of the nut, put it right back in, done. Yep. 20 seconds. But you see, to me, that's a big lesson that I learned there. And so anyways, when I met you guys, I had been going through that issue, trying to get it solved, and working with I was still in the beginning stages, so once again my thinking, my logic wasn't durable enough, and I was doubting everything and asking people for help, or maybe people back in Los Angeles that I thought were wise people, and maybe they can help me, but in fact they actually just worsened my panic, and so I was just going through all that when I met you guys, and I was trying to get it fixed, and and so I've come a long way since then.
Yeah.
But it's almost like the curve keeps going, and now I have other things. But what I gotta really learn, to embrace this voyage, in a good way, in a wholesome way.
Yeah, it looks like you are. So, one of the things that was intriguing, and I didn't have much internet connection. So the whole time that we were here last time when we met you. But then I just saw your videos and Dreamer, right? Dreamer. Yes. So, with all the challenges of sailing, and there are going to be more challenges as you go, and it's how you deal with them, how you respond to them, how you breathe into them and let it happen and respond, not react, but respond. What keeps you, first of all, what made you have the dream, and despite all these odds, what makes you sustain that dream?
That's a good question. That really strikes to the core, and I don't know, it must be something in the way I was like, from childhood, of just wanting to be free, basically. Now that sounds cliche, wanting to be free, because...
But what was the instant when you knew you wanted to be free?
I always... Like, whenever I had, I love traveling. I love traveling. Maybe it started when I was a kid. First of all, I hated school as a child. Even though I knew I was smart, because I had no trouble with anything in school, but I hated school, and I hated, even in my documentary, there's a couple scenes where I go to the same school I grew up in my little, it was LeMay Elementary School. And I remember those gates. They haven't changed it at all. They look the same, ugly gates. Very, very daunting and gray and
that prison type look.
It's a prison type look, and the concrete is like black top. I never understood why it doesn't really look like a great place for education and youth. But whatever. Maybe that's my own psychological projection.
No,
but
it's good. It's good for skin knees.
Yeah. And it's hot in the summer. I don't know why. Why would they put black, hot tar concrete in a hot valley? Well, anyways, so I know it had something to do with that. Not wanting to go to school. I just didn't want to, and I always knew there was more out in the world. My dad's from Israel.
Yeah.
And I do come from a broken home, and I know all this stuff is strongly correlated. That I come from a broken home. My dad's from Israel. My mom is just this valley girl, She didn't have much culture. She was just an American girl, Who knows, English, whatever. Nobody knows, But but knowing that my dad was Israeli, always kept my mind opening to know that there's another world out there, and that's something that I didn't have in common with the other kids growing up in the United States. Even though I come from Los Angeles, you would think melting pot, but not really. These kids all looked, it was like, they really believed that that high school and cheerleading and baseball and hot dogs was reality, you know what I mean? Graduated, going to school, whatever. Their worlds to me were always small, you know what I mean? So I was always looking for a way out. I knew that because my dad was Israeli, and then impacted by having kind of like a sucky ass, childhood, where we're poor and shit and trapped in this, where I don't want to be in this system, and then I became a skateboarder when I was throughout high school, and I
That's
loved
liberating.
Yeah, skateboarding was liberating. That was, and also the thing about skateboarding is that is a culture based on traveling. It's a vehicle, and we would travel on the skateboard. I'm actually putting this together right now. I'm thinking now as I'm thinking about it, and we would go, to from our city to downtown LA, which is kind of creepy and scary, and then we go to Venice Beach, travel far distances. We even went to like San Diego one time, and we were only 13 or 14 years old.
Cool.
You know, from Los Angeles to San Diego, you know, it was crazy. And it was also Renegade too. It was Maverick, you know.
Right,
we were doing our own thing, you know, and very independent too, very non like group oriented so much. But your question was, where did the dream so I mean that's probably the roots of it.
Yeah. So your father's experience.
Yeah. But then the actual. Yeah. So that's how I answered that one. But if you wanted more detail, maybe I can talk about it. But that's probably the core of how I feel. I think got me to wanting to be a traveler, and but there's. But the thing about sailboating itself, you know, that's probably another chapter how I segued into sailing, you know. But what I gave you is probably the core of who I am and why, you know.
And that's actually my next question. So, like a sailboat, there are many ways to travel, and you probably took public transportation with skateboarding and so on.
Yes.
Why sailboats? Was there a book you read? Something? Why sailboats? Because it's a difficult medium to travel with.
Funny.
It's challenging, very challenging. Why sailboats?
You know what? Now I remember. Well, I did motorcycles for a while. You know.
Oh, cool.
Just because the pure possibility of it. You know, if you look at a map, and this is something that I don't think is talked about enough in any school or forum, but it's like looking at North America, Central America, South America. They're connected. There is no gap in between. None. It's physically connected. It blows my mind till this day that there's not a highway going through there. You know, maybe not a big highway, but something. But yeah, you go to, you know, right there at Panama Bay, they close it off and everybody forbids it, you know. But anyways, that's how I got into motorcycles, that the pure possibility of it. And during that trip, I met this German girl, you know, and I remember, I was already seeing sailboats, you know, but I met this German girl and I asked her what's her passion, you know, and she goes, sailboats. And then bang, it hit me, and I just looked out there and I was like, that's it, man, like this is awesome, you know. I don't know why, but that was just that moment where I met that German girl, and we ended up having a relationship and everything too. So kind of like it grew into that. Her family is into it.
Did she had a sailboat?
No, she didn't. No,
Her
but her
family.
family, they're from Germany, and her family had they lived like near a lake, and they had sailboats, and but that was like their family's passionate activity was sailing. You know, they're more like probably like sportive type of sailing, but then once I had the realization that this is a free form of transportation, as far as I should be careful with that, but you know, it's just the wind. You know, that is the essence. It's the wind, and if you just sail, you don't. You know, it's very possible, and also and that ties in with me just loving culture, and languages and history, and wanting to see the whole world. So it kind of just it just matched right up, and so that's what captured me, the vision.
That's cool. So, with that vision, the seed was planted with the German girl.
Yeah.
What made you jump off the deep end, buying the boat, and actually just taking off?
I don't know. I guess I don't know what it is. I guess it's just like a burning desire to see the world. I consider it like an education. Why did I don't know.
I'll get more specific.
Okay,
so in your video, the documentary, you filmed the harbor and the sailboats, and you were reflecting on, this was my dream. This is what I want to do. I would go to work, do the sort of the drudgery of going to work, and knowing that you had this dream that you wanted, so you did the drudgery.
Yes, the drudgery. Yes.
But what was that point where it's like, this is the boat, and I'm doing it? What was that story?
Like, well, I don't know. It's funny because I do kind of. It's hard for me to single out a moment on that one, you know. But basically, I am that kind of person that once I do get something in my mind, I'll just become I'll drudge it. You know, like everything that I do will be towards that. And I just basically
Focus.
took a faith to this dream, took an oath to it, that I'm just going to do it, you know, and I just made everything that I do, it's maybe almost too much in a way where I'm already living, I wasn't even living in that moment anymore. I didn't want to be in Los Angeles. I did not want to be around it. Everything negative, I would be pissed off. I'm like, I can't wait to get out of here, you know, and I hated, that one thing I can tell you is I hated being dependent upon my financial success in order to do what I love in life. And so to me it was like just the sheer fact that I had a way out, just one single path that would get me out of that dependent scenario, that scenario where I'm trapped in Los Angeles, without a sailboat, without the means to at least just jump off, you know.
Right.
And so, because you know, if you don't make enough, save up enough money, if you don't, you know, take care of your financial circumstance, it could be impossible, you know, to ever do that, you know. You will be stuck at your job or whatever it is, and too many people are basically are at the mercy of their financial situation, you know. So that anger drove me, definitely not wanting to be have to stifle my own dream, my own, you know. To me it's just like that's the fruits of life, to learn, to go around the world and to, you know, eat it up. Yeah.
So there was a comment in one of your videos, is that, and this sort of goes into, and it's going to be a broad question, so hang on. The comment was, you already got the dream. What do people who already live the dream about? And I'm going to preface this by saying that, I mean, sailing is it's challenging. You've had a lot of challenges. Even in the time that we've known each other, you've had more challenges, and so have we. You got this dream going on. What do you dream of, even despite the challenges that are going on? What are your, like, major goals, your maybe vision for the future, the thing that really keeps you pushing through this different lifestyle?
One saying I like to say is, if you love something, you will always love something. You'll always come back to it. That's what I found in life. And I find that whenever I deviate from that, you know, let something that looks interesting over here or over there deviate me from the things that I love, like skateboarding, music, art, expression, traveling, learning languages, that pure art of those loves. Whenever I deviate from them, I always regret to deviate from that, you know. Although it's funny because influences undoubtedly will steer you away from those. You know, they'll say it's not responsible. You know, you know, because it doesn't seem like that's going to produce anything at all that's worth that has safety to it. You know. So and also there was moments where, you know, a life and death situation, and you know what I think right away when I get to that life and death situation, I think I'm going around the world. I like that's what I'm gonna do. Like, if I get a terminal illness or something, all that I want to do is go around the world and just travel and see it all. You know. So instead of getting, and I've had close calls in life, and so I'm just like, hey, that's a reminder to keep going. You know, because that's obviously what I love in life. This is the truth. You know, I can let fear get in the way. I can let responsibility get in the way. But I hope I don't. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what do dreamers dream about? What do you dream about after this dream? You've got the dream. Well, at least according to that. But what do you dream about?
That's funny. What do dreamers dream about at this point in life right now? I'm dreaming about, you know, I'd like to get my vlog up and running. You know, cool. I think the vlog is, I believe in it as a, you know, I think that would be a nice practice to practice my arts, you know, to get that going and to produce something that I can really stand behind. You know, I'm gonna put something up, like as my other two documentaries. You know that, the reason why I like documenting is because I try to be as real as I can.
Yep.
You know, and it does curdle my blood sometimes to see my own stuff, because I am very real.
Yeah.
I've even been criticized for being too real, if that's possible. But the reason why I do it is because I want to put myself out there, so I can see myself, and then I can develop ahead. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why I express myself. You know, because I'm trying to really grow. You know.
Yeah.
And so that's what I want to do next with this vlog. You know, I want to put it on the line, but I want this to be good, because, you know, at this point in my life, at this stage in my life, this has got to be good.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I want to stand behind it. I want people to enjoy it, you know, too. And I'm not doing it for other people's enjoyment. I am and I am not. You know, I'm doing it for my own catharsis. But I would like it to be something that's timeless, you know?
Yep.
Something that is really quality, you know, and you know, so it'll live on, you know?
Yeah, no, that's cool. There's, in education, I've been in education for years, there's different mindsets. And on the one hand, and we have a good question from the Peanut Gallery. Thank you, JoAnne. This is good, and I'll dovetail this with this. There are two mindsets. One is like a fixed mindset, and the question was social conditioning and educational programming, putting us into boxes. What you described, that you hated education when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Sort of looked like prisons. They tried to sort of put you in a box. So social conditioning.
Yeah.
There's that type of mindset with, what's that?
Human robots.
Human robots. Verbatim.
Right?
Thank you, JoAnne. So, like human robots. The mindset that the human capacity and capability is fixed, where you're born smart, or you're not smart, or you're somewhere in the middle where it's fixed, versus a growth mindset. And so what I'm hearing you say is that you're looking to grow. And if a dreamer dreams of dreaming something else, you're living the dream. Well, what does living the dream mean? It sounds like what you're saying is growing. Learning, loving, experiencing the world, growing into it, learning more about you, learning more about the world. Very cool. All right, so how do you deal with people? I'm going back to what JoAnne is asking, is how do you deal with people that say, oh, you're stupid. You shouldn't be doing that. You should be successful and have a career, and putting you into a box. How do you deal with that?
It does affect me. You know, it does affect me, especially when at times of vulnerability, all those negative thoughts come back. You know, I definitely, you know, can be vulnerable, and that's when those negative words, you know, come to surface, perhaps. But what else was I going to say? So, you're asking how do I cope through like any negative resistance I'm getting in life from stopping me from what I want to do.
Yeah, so I'll give you an example. I mean, I see a lot of the blogs and a lot of the vlogs. You'll get criticism regardless of what you say. I mean, it's out there.
Yes, that is true.
You know,
that's true.
And sometimes that can get overwhelming. I'll give you an example. Writing this book and stuff like that, there's going to be there'll be some negative criticism and stuff like that. And people saying, "Oh, you shouldn't be a writer," blah blah blah. But going back to what you were saying is that if you love it, you see that vision, you have that dream, go for the dream, regardless. You know, despite the failures, despite the setbacks, keep going for that dream. And one of our mission with Audeamus is create the dream, love the dream, live the dream. So you create this dream, you love this dream, and then you live it. So overcoming all these, let's say, negative feedback, negative responses, financial, and all these problems. How do you deal with all of that, let's say, expectation from society for not only living, but also for being successful as a human?
Yeah, I guess that's the moment where I just basically really I kind of feel like that's what I have to do right now. And that's what I'm already been gearing towards. But really, right now is the moment where I'm really hoping to just, hone into the sailing part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is ultimately what we spoke about earlier. It's a sailboat,
Right.
We only need the wind. Once your boat is geared up and equipped, if it's done, to a competent level, you shouldn't be jumping from boatyard to boatyard to boatyard, right? I mean, if your boat's pretty good, it should be good. Of course, there's maintenance, but this is my moment where I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna untie the line, as they say, and sail, as they say. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to come back to the basics. I want to do that. I want to be thrifty. I want to use my skill. This is D-Day, I want to get out there and do it now.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be real quiet. At this point, I kind of want to have a very low profile and film it. Film my cinematography with my camera, maybe write a song or two that I feel good about,
Mm-hmm.
and then put it together. But I'm going to do it like in a stealth way, but the product itself, now that's where I want to open up and be expressive to the public again.
Cool.
So I'm going to try to, like, all the negative things, I'm going to have to really just not let them even touch me at this point. I'm going to sail faster than they can catch me, and just smooth.
And that's metaphor.
And I feel good. I feel good when I'm out there. I do. Even Kelly said when before we got in here, and I didn't know about the crash. Although I was, okay, that's another subject. I was basically, that's part of my financial strategy was the crash. I sold my home, and I was ready for that. Although I stepped in some booby traps too, so I'm not as good as I said I was going to be. But anyway, so but Kelly was telling me, she goes, your voice is calmer, That was after like 5 days out in the ocean and in anchorages and islands,
Cool.
Because your voice sounds calmer, And we were out there, and it's like we didn't spend any money. She said I'm like, yeah, I feel good actually, I feel pretty damn calm, And so, and of course, when we get in here, the first thing I do, what's going on? Market crash. And then I'm thinking, okay, that's a good thing, right? Because I got money in gold, right?
Yeah.
And then they say Saudis are having an oil war. I'm like, oh shit! I freaking stepped in a booby trap because I own some oil. Because you're supposed to, I come through my education in finance and the economy is that commodities are supposed to do good in times of turmoil. Because they're physical hard goods. Oil and gold that can't go to a zero, but a business can go negative. They can go
right.
But the oil was a detour too. I was more on gold. But anyway, so yeah, here comes all the I got hit with that, and welcome back to society, So I'm hoping to shake that off, and Lucas.
Come on in.
That's Kelly.
Hey, I've got one more question.
Sure.
All right.
I like you have very good questions. I'm enjoying this, because I can tell
Likewise.
I can tell you, it's very thoughtful, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. One more question. So, create the dream, love the dream, and live the dream. In living the dream, what are your rituals, your habits? What really sustains and will propel you forward? What are your rituals?
Rituals, interesting. My rituals. I like to wake up in the morning and have coffee. I love the morning time. I love my coffee. My dog. Oh my Lord, my dog is my son. I love him to death. This is Lucas right here. Lucas is my little genie. Lucas is like, he's got so much of my heart. It's insane, Like, I rub him, I rub his little belly. Kissy, Lucas. Kissy. And so Lucas is a big part of that. Health. Yeah. I believe in health, I want to like get into swimming more, catching fish with the spear gun. That's fun, Eating well, eating well is just fun too. Like,
what do you do to stay healthy? So you're going to get into the swimming, but what do you do to stay healthy on the boat? like every day you do this? Is there a ritual?
Well, I know I've always had skateboarding. I've always had skateboarding. I've always been an athlete, so I always look for a way to apply myself in exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be, maybe it'll go into diving. Maybe that becomes an outlet. I was even thinking I haven't done it yet, but just get all crazy with sit-ups, push-ups. I have some gymnastic rings I can hang from maybe the boom or something. Just pull-ups, just get all ripped. But I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, that's it. What about like with videography and the filming that you're doing, the music? What are some of your rituals?
Okay.
That you want to really start getting really good at?
I would love, like I said, at this point in my development in life, as an artist, especially, I want my art to be as good as I can make it. And I'm not trying to be competition with anybody at all, except for myself. So I want it to be just something I can stand behind, So I'll take my time to craft the words I put in the song, and also with the shot, I want it to be good. I'm going to edit. I got myself a MacBook Pro. I have a pretty damn good camera, But I do believe in limitations too, because that's how all... you don't have to have the best everything. I think that the limitation is what keeps you inventive, But one thing I do for my music is I've been writing a letter to my mom, my sister, my girlfriend, or a friend. I'll just write a letter. Just like you're writing them a letter and putting it in the mail and sending it off.
Yeah.
But that's kind of not really practical anymore, because with mail and it's so much easier just to hit it with the Insta chat or whatever.
So take a picture of it and do Instagram.
Yeah. So what I do is I take those lyrics and I make a song with those lyrics.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And so to me that's the way that I write letters now. I just put it just like I would. So I'm really just getting whatever I feel off my chest, and then I put it in a song, and then I feel like how much better can I communicate than that,
That's cool.
So
I said that was the last question, but I do have another question from the peanut gallery. So, would you say that your vlog is your calling, your abundance, your artwork, your songwriting? Is that your calling?
The vlog itself, or
the vlog, the artwork, the songwriting, maybe everything going into the vlog.
Oh. So is that my calling? Is I would say, I don't know. When I think my calling, I think more. I think that those are my goals, as an artist and it's a platform.
Right.
And I definitely want to achieve those things as good as I can. But when I think of a calling, I think of something that's kind of still intuitive or just beyond reach. And maybe I'll probably find that and I hope I find that when I'm like, a good way through my curve, my learning curve on this. Like maybe I can visualize being like in either in Panama or in maybe like the Philippines, and having like a calling of a new challenge, maybe, or a new twist to the challenge.
Yeah. Would you say your growth mindset is the calling?
Yes, that's fair. I think so, because that's pretty.
It's expansive.
Resilient. It's expansive, and I can, keep it at my own preference.
Yeah.
So if I feel like being lazy, or if I feel like just vegging out, I can do that. Or I'm not overly pressuring myself.
Relax into the learning.
Yeah.
All right. I think there might be one more question. And this will actually sort of lead us out. So do you compose other people's lyrics into songs? Or do you do what you just said, write the letters and has the lyrics?
So do I compose like something that someone else wrote and then I'll use it in my song?
Yeah, just say it. Wait.
Well, I've written lyrics,
Uh-huh.
but I had known nothing about music or how to compose. Like, is that something that you would collaborate
Oh,
on?
absolutely. I would love to do that kind of
Like,
stuff.
I could send you some lyrics,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
could make it into a song and make it real.
Yeah, perhaps.
Okay.
Perhaps. That's something
Cool.
that I would love to. One person I was trying to get on that was my dad. Because my dad's a musician.
Oh, cool.
And so, but me and my dad, just the nature of us, we somehow don't work together well on projects together.
Mm.
But he's a musician, and I'm always trying to be like, Dad, come down and visit me, let's write a song. And we've even tried to write a song before, and it's almost like we just start it doesn't work, you know. And I would, if he gave me lyrics, I'd just be like, I would love to, you know, to do that. But I'm open for anybody on that. But I haven't done it yet. I can't say I have.
Yeah. Well, that could be maybe another video down the road.
Yeah.
Could you
Yeah.
just give a shout out to your website or your potential new website, and where people can contact you or see your videos?
Sure, that'd be cool. It's a nice opportunity.
Yeah.
So basically, right now I have a YouTube channel, which I think I'll continue with because it's just my name, Ian Palmer. I have 2 documentaries there, and that's where I'll oh, you know what? Hey, I have right now the name of my vlog. So Ian Palmer is me, and my channel is Ian Palmer, right? And I've had 2 documentaries. They were just kind of they kind of worked together in a way because one was, you know, chronologically and in the development of my life. They perfectly go into place. But they're separate. One is called Another Type of Intelligence. That was the first one of my motorcycle adventure from Los Angeles to Argentina. It took me a year, which we didn't really talk about, but
Yep.
but we'll, you know, and so that documentary is there to see that. That was a good reaction. People liked that one. It was like super raw, you know, but people liked it. And then the next one was Dreamer, and that was a documentary I did where I linked up with another sailor who was an experienced and renowned sailor. He's written books and everything, and I kind of we kind of our stories intertwined basically, where my dream that I want to do is the dream that he already did, and I kind of just, you know, interweave those together, and that's what it's called. It's called Dreamer, and I did that. But I think I'm gonna stop doing the documentaries because they're like full-length movies, you know, which are like excruciating to put together. And plus, I don't think that. I think that I actually do realize the benefit from vlogs. You know, they're short, and people like them. You know, I guess that seems like this is what the future is bringing us. Like people like shorter things that are just they can watch real quick, and why not? It's visual, it's audio, it's a form of expression. So I'm not gonna knock that down. That's just a format. So I'm gonna jump on that, and I'm gonna start doing a series of vlogs. And I came up with a name already. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go with it, but I so far have a good feeling of it. It's called Natural Fizz, and you know, so. And it's gonna be called Natural Fizz. It'll be on my but one thing I can stand behind is that I'm gonna do my very best on that, you know. Hope I'm not putting myself up to it too much, but it's true. I really want to make something that I can just, even if it's purely artistic, you know, even if it's something that doesn't necessarily, that people can't follow, you know, maybe it's just too, who knows what will it'll be, but I want it to be like, that I'm digging it real good, you know. I'm digging. I'm like I'm grooving to that, you know. Even if it's just arbitrary landscapes and you know and you know ambient sounds and a few words here and there, whatever. Who cares? You know what I mean? Expression is expression, but I want to feel it real good, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's important. I think we just broke the mic. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure knowing you.
Awesome.
It's been a pleasure sailing with you and seeing you outside of Laredo in those gale force winds. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. That was fun.
Everybody has the information. We're gonna sign off here, but stay tuned for more things.
Thank you.
Coming your way. natural fizz.
And thank you guys too for being a positive force, you know, and for being friends, you know,
Yeah.
foremost. You guys definitely supported me right off the bat, and that means a lot, you know. So thanks, guys, and thanks for this. This was cool, you know, just that you took the time to watch it, and you can tell that you thought about it. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Hey, it's our pleasure.
Okay.
And if you guys could hit like, subscribe, and do all those things that every other YouTube station asks you to do, we'd love it. Also, comments. Put some comments down below. If you have comments for Ian, what we're going to do is actually do a link to his site,
That'll be cool.
to
Thanks.
your YouTube site, and
I appreciate
you can
that.
answer, we could answer, and
Thanks, bud.
have fun,
Appreciate
man.
it. Awesome.
All right. Great sailing. Mazatlan next. All right.
Yeah, the
All right.
adventures begin.
All right.
2020.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're good. Audeamus, and
That was fun.
I hope it was
Valhalla
recording.
signing off.
It stopped right now.
It stopped right now.